Are you ready?
Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch for the fourth round of the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup. I'm here with Matt Collett, who is Marketing Director for Performance Direct. And Matt, you've been working with Radical for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, this is the second season that we've been working with Radical, so that's great.
And you've been sponsoring the Clubman's Cup as well, haven't you? So how's that been going?
Yeah, it's been really good. Yeah, it's been really interesting to follow each round and see how everyone's getting on.
And as an insurance company, you insure all kinds of vehicles, really, don't you?
That's right, we can insure pretty much anything, and I suppose Radical's an extreme example of the sort of thing that we do get involved with. This is obviously a motorsport, so insuring motorsport is something that we can do, but our day job is really insuring people in the UK on the road, so driving anything from classics to performance, prestige, or like modified vehicles. We can pretty much cover most things, including motorhomes, motorcycles as well.
And you've got quite a large presence here this weekend at Brands Hatch, haven't you? So what have you found that people have been coming up to you and asking?
Well, we've had a variety of people coming to the stand this weekend. It's always like that. This weekend's obviously a mini festival, so hell of a lot of minis coming in, and weird and wonderful minis. People coming in with motorcycle engines, people coming in with Honda engines in the back of the mini. So it's always interesting to see what the next person's going to walk up to us and ask us for.
And did you know that there's actually a Mini out there with a Radical engine in the back?
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of this. I didn't realise that, but I'm definitely going to go and see if I can find it and have a little look.
And how do you hope that the relationship will develop in the future?
Yeah, obviously we're keen to work with Radical. We enjoy working with Radical. It's a little bit more interesting than our normal sort of everyday job. So we enjoy the relationship with Radical, and we hope to be a partner with them for years to come.
So Bradley, you've qualified on pole for the first race here today of the Clubman's Cup. How are you feeling?
Quite good. Hopefully we can keep up at the front and just sort of get my head down and go. So, but no, it was a good run. We found a clear bit of track and put sort of about 3 or 4 good laps in and had a good run. So yeah, it went quite well.
Brilliant. And how's the car feeling at the moment?
Yeah, car feeling not too bad. We need to make a couple changes, I think, just to sort of give us a bit of extra grip on the front. But I think we're going to tweak with it in this race and just see how we get on.
Brilliant. And how's the whole series or championship now been going for you so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting better and better throughout the year, so we've all sort of put a lot of hard work in the car and sort of with my driving as well, and definitely found a bit of time and a bit of consistency as well, so no, it's going really well.
So Martin, you've had a good qualifying here today for race 1?
It wasn't bad. The guys worked really hard till about 10 o'clock last night to change the car completely from last time we were here, and we went backwards, so they're changing it back again, and they've not stopped working all day, all night last night, and Tim Gray Motorsport's done an amazing job, so hopefully we can go a bit quicker in the race than we did in qualifying.
And what are the changes that you've had to reverse?
We changed all springs and all dampers and the roll bars, and we've gone back to the original settings. So so we've run this setup before, more or less, but it's all different suspension compared to qualifying. The car's going really well. I'm really enjoying it as well, but I'm not doing the full season this year, unfortunately. But I'm enjoying what I am doing.
As you can hear behind me, the Clubman's Cup cars are revving and getting ready to blast off for race 1. We've got in pole position Bradley Smith, and he's looking to keep that position, but he's also got Matthew Bell and Martin Brooks behind him looking to take over that lead. So it's anyone's race. Let's see what happens.
Should be a cracker this one then, the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup on the Brown Indy circuit. Away they go, and Martin Brooks makes a fantastic start in the little black PR6, but it's Gary Kane who leads into Paddock Hill Bend. It's Martin Brooks who leads through Paddock Hill Bend. What a start from Brooks. Third to first before they reach the first turn. So they climb the hill towards Druids. It's Brooks leads, Kane second, Bell in third, Bradley Smith in fourth. Andy Cummings has come up into 5th position. A good start for him, and Martin Brooks already trying to stretch his legs as the change for second place. Up the inside goes Matthew Bell. Good move from him. Gary Kane slips down to third. He's immediately got though Bradley Smith right up onto his tail. So Bell, who won the first 2 races of the year at Snetterton, the former Fulham Palm Rowdy racer, trying to make amends for a reasonably disappointing start. And Bradley Smith now draws alongside Gary Kane as they accelerate out of Clark Curve along the Brabham Straight through to complete the first lap. It's gone in the blink of an eye, and Bradley Smith is going to go through into third position. Good move there from Smith on Gary Kane, although Gary Kane had adventures in qualifying for Radical Clubman's Cup this morning. That car is freshly hoovered, but clearly performing very well in the early stage of this race as he now tries to withstand the pressure from Andy Cummings. Kane then turning through left-hander Graham Hill Bend. It's been a good season this thus far from Gary Kane, both in the Clubman's Cup and also in the Radical UK Cup as well. He really has come on leaps and bounds, and it shows how well the Radical Clubman's Cup works as a development category for drivers relatively new to Radical racing. Bradley Smith in third, another driver who has really learnt over his time in the Radical Clubman's Cup. Timothy Lyons there, just trying to pull a little bit of a gap over Simon Garmston to go back to the fight for third, fourth and fifth, because now that Bradley Smith's through, he's not really jumping away from Gary Kane here. He's got Andy Cummings as well, fairly close onto his tail. Richard Stables also got plenty of cars on his tail. It's Tim Porter who is first up in that queue. Tom Jordan there in number 8. At the back of the queue, Jordan still sporting the novice cross as a newcomer to racing. He's trying to find his way past Andy Harwood in the 25 car. Harwood though covering the inside line. Jordan forced the outside, but we do get the change of place as Shane Porter slides up the inside. He gains the place into Paddock Hill Bend. Looking to try and hold off Ian Charles up the hill towards Druids. He manages in so doing, but a great battle this. Lots of cars running very close together, which is what we want to see. And Martin Brooks is trying to pick his way through all of them as he's already into the traffic in such a short lap here on the Brands Indy circuit. Matt Bell is with him for company and Bradley Smith as well, but Brooks fearless at the moment in the PR6. He also makes the move on Clifford Butler into clearways, and what Butler saw now is Matt Bell going past him on the inside as well, accelerating along the Brabham Straight. Then there's that gap to Bradley Smith, and this is going to become a race possibly of how the front runners can best manage the traffic, because although Brooks is very confident through traffic, so is Matt Bell. Bradley Smith has been able to get through that gaggle of cars as well as they climb on up towards Druids. So the first three still running together on the road, and now he's in some clear air. Matt Bell is bringing that gap down to Martin Brooks. It really is sliding downwards. This is the battle there next, coming up onto the tail of 4 cars just ahead of Brooks, Bell and Smith as they come out of clearways, and it's still leading that group, Richard Stables, with a brilliant move from Tom Jordan around the outside of Tim Porter. Can he make it stick through Paddock Hill Bend? Well, it's Porter who's got the inside line up the hill towards Druids, but brave on the brakes is going to be Tom Jordan. He can't quite do it. It's bringing Andy Harwood into the mix as well, and Jordan runs wide at Druids as a result. Well, 3 cars was never going to go, and Brooks and Bell able to pick their way through that lot. Tom Jordan rejoins, and he's now got all of that work to do once more. All of this is allowing Matt Bell to get ever closer to the tail here of Martin Brooks as Tom Jordan attempting to reclaim that place from Andy Harwood. Around the outside he looks at clearways. Bradley Smith is thinking, how can I find a way past these two? The answer is trying to take the inside line through Clark Curve. Well, he's able to get past Tom Jordan that way. Find out in due course whether he's able to clear Andy Harwood by the time they arrive at Paddock Hill Bend. Yes, he has. Just about, as still Tim Porter looks to gain the place on Richard Stables. So again, 3 wide into Druids. It's a result for Tim Porter. It's also a result for Martin Brooks, where he runs a little bit wide, and that is another opening possibly for Matt Bell, because still Brooks unable to get past Tim Porter as they jig through Graham Hill Bend. Now he's got the inside line. He boxes Matt Bell in behind Porter. That's really good driving from Martin Brooks in terms of managing the traffic, being able to temper the pace that Matt Bell had coming out of Graham Hill Bend. This is a very, very competitive race in the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup, one of the best of the season thus far, and it's still anybody's guess as to who's going to claim the honours here. It's going to be Martin Brooks, Matthew Bell, or indeed Bradley Smith, because Smith is not too far back either, and if anything, he has gained ground on that last lap as well. They climb the hill on towards the hairpin of Druids, covering the inside line nice and early is Martin Brooks. He really is making that PR6 perform very well against the SR3 cars in the Supersport class, ganging up onto his tail. Still the battle's raging behind as Ben Dimmock looks to pick a lap on Clifford Butler. He's able to do that. Also Andy Cummings still showing well as he has got Mark Abbott right up onto his tail too. As we've got a car off Richard Stables, and we've got a change for the lead. Matt Bell goes through on Martin Brooks. Now the Wajo flag in the background I just wonder if that move was made under waved yellows and we saw Martin Brooks backing off. I think Brooks certainly backed off because Bradley Smith's gone through as well, and Brooks is waving to the officials on the start and finish line, so he's obviously felt that he's seen something that he'd like investigated. Anyway, it's Bell who leads it from Smith. Another wave from Martin Brooks, so he now concentrates on getting back into the racing and closing into the tail of Bradley Smith. But the big question is that Matt Bell has been bottled up behind Martin Brooks really throughout the course of the race. Will he now be able to pull away, and will he take Bradley Smith with him for company as Ian Charles leads Shane Porter through Paddock Hill Bend? So still having a pretty solid race is Simon Garmston. They'll make their way down. Paul Marshman is in the 39 car trying to find his way through that group as the leaders now line astern as we head towards the closing stage of the race. And is Bradley Smith going to be able to snatch a last gasp victory here from Matt Bell? Bell using all the roads and almost a little bit more on the exit of Druids. They then accelerate out of Graham Hill Bend. Both of them becoming good friends with the Rumble Strip, accelerating into Surtees. Going to put a lap on Clifford Butler, and Bell boxed in, and this is Smith's opportunity. He goes for it. Smith to the outside, loses the rear of the car, around he goes into the gravel trap, and it means that accelerating out of Clark Kerr for the final time. The checker flag at the ready, and Matthew Bell wins the race on the road. Super drive from Bell. He has been able to build out a big advantage over Martin Brooks, who claims second, with then Gary Kane a very fine third position. Bell receiving the applause of the marshals and then taking the spoils on the top step of the podium with the handshake and the champagne from David Willey of MSVR.
Me and Bradley didn't get a very good start, and as usual the PR6's Martin Brooks is just rapid off the start. I mean, even Gary Kane got past us, which I was sort of happy about because I got past Bradley, and as I said before, it's very hard to overtake here, it's hard to follow, it's hard to get close. I was happy just to finish second behind a PR6, in all honesty, with the championship at stake. I still get maximum points despite where I finish. By the sounds of it, there's a little bit of confusion on the last corner where I went past Martin. I personally didn't see any flags, or there were definitely no lights. If there was, I wouldn't have gone for it. Obviously, that's where I went past. I did suspect on the exit of the corner, due to the fact that there were two cars off, that there may well have been. But then when I looked in my mirror, Bradley made the same move. And as I'm fighting him in the championship, I couldn't risk a maybe or an if or whether there was yellow flags. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't see them, so that's why I made the move. But no, good first race. Hopefully we'll repeat it in the second one.
Well, it was a really eventful race. I made a good start, a really good start. Got up to first in the first corner, and then pulled a bit of a gap, and I was pretty comfortable all the way to back markers, and then Matt was closing in behind the back markers, then I stretched it out again. I think I had the race under control, and there was a bit of confusion 3/4 distance with some waved yellows and some back markers. I backed right off and went back to third, which I didn't think was entirely the way it should have gone, and then I just stroked it home from there really to see what happens afterwards. But a great race, and it's a great circuit, very busy, lots of back markers, a lot to take in, and looking forward to the second race.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's one of those races where you just got to keep consistent, because it's so easy to fall off here. It's such a short track, but you can push too hard, and we're out in the UK Cup as well. I beached it in the paddock this morning in qualifying, so they've had to work really hard getting all the Brighton beach out or whatever it is they put in there. So many thanks to them, they've done a massive job. So yeah, I'll take it.
Post-race inquiry decided that Matthew Bell did overtake under yellow flags at Clearways, and that gave him a 15-second penalty that saw Martin Brooks promoted to the win, Bell demoted second, and Gary Kane holding on to third.
So here at Radical TV, we don't usually deal with other types of cars, but I've managed to find Harvey Death, who's actually got a Radical V8 engine in his Mini. What made you decide to put that in your car?
Well, we looked to build the ultimate Mini, and we started with a space frame, and we wanted the most powerful, compact package to go alongside a front-wheel drive touring car gearbox, and the Radical V8 was the ideal solution.
And how kind of fast can you get up to in the car now?
It's geared to about 160 miles an hour at the moment, but I think it will achieve 170 should you ever wish to do so.
And maybe you will be doing that here this weekend, because you are racing it, aren't you?
We are racing this weekend, and yeah, we'll see.
What kind of difference has having that engine in the car made to the vehicle as a whole?
It's just exceedingly powerful, and it's got a very, very torquey engine. It's quite easy to drive, but you often have to short shift and to avoid putting too much power through the front wheels. It will light the front wheels up at 100 miles an hour.
Okay, well, we wish you best of luck for the race tomorrow. Thanks for chatting, Harvey.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cars coming to the grid then for the second race of the day from the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup, with Bradley Smith in pole position and missing Matt Bell. Should have been there second on the grid on row 2. It's Martin Brooks and Gary Kane. Now, will Brooks be able to repeat that fast starting trick that he showed us in race 1? Away we go, and just another brilliant start from Brooks, and he powers away past Gary Kane. He's also been able to clear Bradley Smith, so as they arrive into paddock the first time, it's Brooks who leads it, Smith second. Also a fast starting Mark Abbott's come up into third position, so Gary Kane shuffled down to fourth, Paul Marsham in fifth, Steve Burgess in sixth, Andy Cummings and Timothy Lyons going side by side in seventh, as this large field climb the hill up towards Druids, and it's Lyons who's going to be edged out there over the grass as Timothy Lyons. He loses a couple of places as the field all head down the hill from Druids. It's Tim Porter just at the back of the pack as Brooks leads the way, already stretching his legs, trying to pull out an immediate advantage over Bradley Smith as the battle's really beginning in earnest behind it. Simon Garmston in the white car just up onto the tail of Andy Cummings, and Cummings in turn trying to chase down Ben Dimmock and Paul Marsham. So across the line, that one completed. Quick glance in the mirrors from Martin Brooks, but he will see to his delight he's already beginning to pull away a little bit from Bradley Smith. Steve Burgess, meanwhile, slightly less satisfactory sight if he looks at these mirrors, because he's got Ben Dimmock right up onto his tail. Dimmock glancing to the inside of Burgess as they climb the hill towards Druids, but he's not quite close enough under braking, so he's going to be content to sit in behind Burgess, who in turn would feel he's going a little bit quicker than Paul Marsham at this stage. The racer would like to find his way through, so just running over the curve there, Steve Burgess. He's under pressure from Ben Dimmock, who looks to the inside into Surtees, and is Dimmock going to go through? Not sure he's quite able to do that. We'll find out in a moment's time as Gary Kane turns into clearways. No, Dimmock didn't get through. If anything, that bid has actually brought Andy Cummings right up onto his tail. Cummings really a much improved driver. He's really learned his racing craft in the Radical Clubman's Cup and Radical UK Cup, and he is moving ever more steadily towards the head of the field. So he is set for a very busy race as Dimmock slides the car through Paddock Hill Bend. Marsham has to defend from Burgess, and they climb the hill towards Druids once more. No way through there for Ben Dimmock, and he's still got Andy Cummings and Simon Garmston right on his tail. And actually, the pace of this battle is now bringing Paul Marsham up towards the tail of the fourth place man, Gary Kane. So there's Gary Kane, Paul Marsham second in the queue, then Steve Burgess, Ben Dimmock, Andy Cummings and Simon Garmston. Really fantastic battle, that one, as sliding the rear of the car, the race leader Martin Brooks, as he accelerates out of Clark Curve along the Bradman Straight through to complete another lap. He's got Bradley Smith still very much on his tail, and then Mark Abbott in third position. Now, as they move into this race and traffic begins to become a factor, this could be Bradley Smith's opportunity to really close that gap down on the race leader Martin Brooks. Right, back to the battles further back, and this time it's Tim Porter trying to find his way past Andy Harwood into Paddock Hill Bend. Porter in the blue machine, Harwood in the red and white car, and Harwood sliding wide. This is Porter's opportunity. He's got the inside line up the hill towards Druids, and that's a brilliant move from Tim Porter to take the place away from Andy Harwood, and that is for 10th position. Super driving from Porter. He found a Radical SR3's width to the inside of Andy Harwood. Harwood, all credit to me, gave him racing room, and Porter goes through and gains the place as he sets off on the road. So got Tom Jordan there trying to gain ground as the counter shows that it is Martin Brooks who leads the race, and still Tim Porter and Andy Harwood battle. Here's the race lead though. Martin Brooks is coming up onto their tail, and it's bringing Bradley Smith now right onto the tail of Martin Brooks. The pair of them running line astern as they climb the hill towards Druids, and Brooks is really going to have to watch his mirrors as well as his visor here, because he's got Smith all over his tail. He's got Tim Porter and Clifford Butler right in front of him. Brooks goes past Butler into Graham Hill Bend. Bradley Smith able to do that on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, but still the gap between the race leaders is down to only probably half a second or so, no more than that, through Surtees then. Martin Brooks jinks through clearways, and Bradley Smith still trying to find a way past Tim Porter fairly easily at Clark Curve. Yes, he does. Tim sees Bradley coming, gives him plenty of racing room. This is one of the real characteristics of the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup, is that the drivers who are still learning their way, when they see the race leaders coming, they do give them racing room to make sure they don't interrupt the battle for the lead the race, and that's exactly what happened there. So we've got the two leaders still running very closely together. Also got David Frankland trying to make a move on Tom Jordan through Graham Hill Bend, and still Brooks pretty much inch perfect with his racing line. He needs to be, because Bradley Smith is right on his tail. So the student Bradley Smith chasing down Martin Brooks. Brands Hatch, really Martin's local circuit. He lives in London, and so he is out of Clark Curve along the Bradman Straight, still trying to pull away from Smith. The gap between them, though, very little again once more as they cross the line. If Martin Brooks were to slide the car too much or just run wide, then Smith would be through in a heartbeat to snatch lead the race away from Martin. Further back, still the battles continue as Andy Harwood's now got Shane Porter right on his tail. Number 40 car, also David Frankland in the middle. Of that is the number 5 car, the Golden Black Machine of Mark Abbott. He's in 3rd place in the race and trying to pick his way through. There's absolutely thrilling dice ahead of him. Shane Porter runs a little bit wide on the way down from Druids, and that's partly flipped the inside of Andy Harwood. He has got Mark Abbott, though, trying to pick his way up past him, which he does now into Surtees. Mark just biding his time, finding the right spot. What it means, though, is that Andy Cummings and Paul Marsham are just beginning to close in onto Mark Abbott, because there's Mark and there's Andy Cummings and Paul Marsham in the back of the shot. So Abbott, it's a case of more speed but less haste. He doesn't want to do anything risky in the traffic. He does need to carve through fairly rapidly, because otherwise he's going to have Marsham and Cummings right up onto his tail. Through Paddock Hill Bend once more. And now Mark Abbott able to put the lap on Andy Harwood. He's going to try and do the same to the car of Clifford Butler into Druids. He can't quite do it though, so he's able to clear Andy Harwood. Harwood can now turn his attentions back to keeping Shane Porter behind him in their battle for on-track position. All the while, they've now got Andy Cummings and Paul Marsham, who run together as well into Surtees. So Cummings in 4th position, at real risk here of losing that to Paul Marsham. Does Marsham be able to find a way through? He's certainly trying around the outside of Clark Curve. Absolutely fantastic race, this one, and Marsham's going to go for that. That's a brilliant move from Paul Marsham, who can pull it off along towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's the orange and black car towards the back of the shot we're looking for. It's Marsham to the outside, Cummings to the inside, and Paul Marsham does it! Super move around the outside at Paddock. Very late on the brakes from Paul Marsham. They go either side of Shane Porter, and Marsham, it took him half a lap to set that move up, and that was perfectly judged as he moves into 4th position. Really superb driving. And that is Radical Racing at its very, very best. He now has to defend into Graham Hill Bend, because Andy Cummings caught him napping a moment there and tried to look to the inside. Marsham were able to cover the line and hold on to that 4th position. He's now got the Butler and Andy Harwood still a battle right ahead of him. He runs almost right under the gearbox of Andy Harwood. He tries to find his way through. He should be able to do that along the Bradman Straight. It's a little bit difficult when the 2 cars are dicing, or trying to lap a dicing position side by side into Paddock. So around the outside goes Paul Marsham, as out of Clark Curve for the final time comes Martin Brooks. It's been a super drive from Martin Brooks. He's judged that race perfectly, and he does the double at Brands Hatch here this weekend, with 2nd place going to Bradley Smith and Mark Abbott holding on for a very well-deserved 3rd place, and Paul Marsham did claim 4th position. As still the racing continues to line, and Ben Dimmock in the 48 car just holds off number 13 machine of Simon Garmston, as the pair of them were about to put a lap on to David Frankland, racing throughout the field. That's why the drivers and crowds love the Performance Direct Radical Clubman's Cup.
I made a great start. The PR6 is so quick off the line that I'm usually pretty confident to get past at least one of the SR3s, and the start was the best I think I've ever done. And then just made it, got a good gap after a few laps, and I was really pushing on the first few laps to try and get a gap, because back markers are always an issue at Brands Hatch with such a short and busy circuit. And I got just enough of a gap that when I did trip over back markers, I managed to just keep enough of a gap to Bradley so he didn't get on my tail. And then it was just about managing the tyres and keeping temperatures down until the end. But it seemed like a very, very long race when you're out in the front. The clock goes so slowly. But I was so pleased to see it when it said 1 and then saw the checkered flag. It felt fantastic.
Martin just got a better start than me and got a bit of a gap. I was closing him in about halfway through the race, and then we started catching the back markers, and I think today I've just been unlucky, catch him in the wrong place and that. But I mean, fair play to Martin. He drove a faultless race, and yeah, we just couldn't quite do him. But hopefully we'll see what improvements we can make for Alton Park, and hopefully get a couple wins in the bag.
Well, that's it for the Clubman's Cup here at Brands Hatch this weekend. We hope that you've enjoyed the racing as much as we have, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.